Not gonna lie, I don't know if the mic is even on. I got 0 viewers anyway, but let me check the stream again. 0 viewers. What? I missed it. I fucking missed it. It was during the event. Holy shit. Well, I was a bit late on this one. By a bit late, I mean very late.
Welcome, everybody. And, this week you went viral for your new dislike of podcasts. Is there no point anyone asking you to join those again?
Yeah, please. You know where I'm at with the podcast. I feel like fucking Jordan Peterson every time I turn on Instagram. I'm on a fucking podcast. Yes. No more podcast, please. Podcast it out.
By the way, did Rob and Costa get a bonus? You mentioned how good that fight was.
Did what?
Did Rob and Costa get some extra money for their fight?
They did not. They did not. We gave out 3 performance bonuses and a fight of the night. We'll kick them something though. We'll take care of it for you. You're welcome.
Buenas noches, Dana.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? Quería saber, pregunta en question in Spanish, quería saber qué valoración hace de la actuación de Ilia Topuria y si cree que puede ser la siguiente superestrella de la UFC.
I love being back in the setup. Oh, I love this.
So how do you feel going forward as chef as you
Yeah, I think you look great. Listen, obviously, Volk's one of the greatest of all time, and he's definitely the greatest in that weight class ever. And Topuria looked damn good in his last fight, and he looked damn good tonight. If he keeps his head together and continues to do what he's doing, he's going to be a force in that division.
Es un grande, tuvo una tremenda actuación, sabemos cómo Volk es un grande también del deporte y tuvo una actuación tremenda la última vez y ahora, o sea, sí, va a ser tremendo también en el futuro. Volkanovski ha pedido inmediatamente la revancha y ha dicho que no le importaría ir hasta España. ¿Cree Reina que este puede ser un movimiento interesante este mismo año? Volkanovski immediately asked for the rematch and he said he might go to Spain. You think that would be a good thing to do?
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to Spain. Who he's going to be facing, I don't know yet, but I have a lot of respect for Volkanovski. We'll see how that plays out, but as long as there's a venue, we're going to Spain.
Definitivamente vamos a España, no sabemos exactamente cuál es el liga de adversario, pero vamos a ver si sea Volkanovski. Solo tenemos que ver la arena y dónde lo hacemos, pero definitivamente vamos a ir a España. Hablando de la arena, sabemos mucho del Santiago Bernabéu. ¿Ha habido un problema real con intentar hacer un evento en el Santiago Bernabéu desde la vuelta de Madrid?
Talking about the venue,
Much has been said about the Santiago Bernabéu, the new stadium for Real Madrid in Madrid. Is there a real interest in actually
how
doing
many
this?
seats is that?
170.000. Sí, completo sí, la mitad unos 35.000. The full for soccer, maybe 80,000, about 35,000 if you actually cut it into an arena for event.
Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor. No, sería todo cubierto. No, they'll be
I like it. Sounds good, yeah. Sounds good.
Y por último, ¿podría debutar la UFC directamente con un pay-per-view, con un evento lucrado en España? And lastly, could the UFC debut in Spain with a would it be could the UFC debut in Spain with
For anyone who just joined the stream,
Champion.
I'm kind of going back and forth right now. I'm watching the press conference
He's the world champion.
live.
In favor.
definitivamente sería para vos eso? Okay, amazing. Thank you very much.
Crazy. So I heard Dana say something about Leon Edwards getting offered a bunch of different opponents.
Talk to me about the decision to put Wanderlei Silva in the Hall of Fame.
He deserves to be. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Back when, you know, me and the Fertitas got into this sport, we were huge Vanderbilt fans. And, everybody that was a hardcore fan back then was a big fan of Pride. And, a lot of big stars came out of there. And Vanderlei has done a lot for the sport in the early days, and he deserves to be in
So it seems like there's a couple more fights that are going to be on 300. The main event's been announced: Jamal Hill versus Alex Bajera, which I think is a badass fight. It's a fight that we've been waiting for a long time. An undisputed championship, light heavyweight belt. I'm not mad at it.
he's going to want to do. But that's up to doctors, not
It's not fucking Conor McGregor versus Brock Lesnar and fucking
I don't determine.
George St. Pierre in a triple threat match, but it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good with what we have. I'd say it's pretty good.
What happens now? He's not going to be on the card, so is he wanting to fight soon, or are you trying to get it on?
So I'm now hearing that it's confirmed
3 different opponents.
Leon Edwards will not
UFC 300s.
be fighting
Nasty opponents. This guy's
on 300. Who the hell else is watching this?
you know,
So they have 2 live viewers.
we're talking about UFC 300.
don't mean to break the illusion, but one of those viewers is myself right now on another channel. So shout out to you, whoever's watching right now.
Call and change opponents on him again. It's just crazy. And this guy could care less. He's up for the challenge. He's ready to fight anybody. I love it. Respect it very much.
So you sorted through a few different opponents for him. Where do you go back to next time? Is it still Bilal at like the top?
I have no idea what we're going to do. He's not fighting on 300 when we figure it out.
Okay, so it looks like it's confirmed that Leon 100% will not be fighting on 300. Crazy thing is, Dana just said that they offered they offered Leon 3 different opponents for 300. He said yes to all of them, so something didn't go well here. There must be some reason. So if there's 3 different opponents, who could he have been offered? One of them obviously is Bilal. That's the fight that should happen. And Bilal has only said that he plans on fighting Leon, and he's open to 300. So if they offered him other people, that's kind of just like a big fuck you to Bilal. Like, there's no real reason for him to say that. One of them I know for sure was Hamzat via Ariel Helwani. The other must have been Dricus. Double champ fight to headline, because Dricus famously mentioned that he was going to be able to fight. And you know what's even crazier? Yesterday, there was an interview with Eugene Berriman, the head coach at City Kickboxing, the same camp Adesanya fights at. And he mentioned that they got a call. Oh, shit, this is my face. They got a call to fight at UFC 300. He didn't say too much. He said he answered the call. They were offered a fight, and they've been in camp. So all signs seem to be pointing towards Adesanya fighting at 300. So the fact that he's not, pretty crazy. I have 4 people watching right now. And then again, one of them is me. So I got 3 people watching. Shout out to you guys. Someone said Dana Pink trolling. Guy is pretty fucking pink, though. I'm not going to lie. Trolling. What do you mean trolling? And Sebastian Perez, you were officially the first person to ever leave a chat. I don't even know if I was going live today. I just kind of turned it on. So this is awesome. Shout out to you, Sebastian. Sebastian, what do you think about the UFC 300 main event? I know you hate it. I know every fan hates it. That's just how it works. Oh, so Sebastian, you just left another chat, right? And you're asking, so what's the UFC 300 main event going to be? In my opinion, well, at this point, my opinion doesn't matter. It's been announced. And I was confused, too, about this, okay? So there was no announcement during the fight. There was no announcement during the press conference, like what Dana said. The announcement was on Dana White's Instagram during the pay-per-view. So no one saw it, right? Like, who was in the middle of Volk versus Taporia? Who was checking Instagram to see if Dana would? But it's Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight championship. That's the fight. That's what it's going to be. And again, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Now, is it the crazy fight we were all expecting? No. But given the available options, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Did you want to see Leon versus Bilal, or did you want to see Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira? Which one would you rather see? You know, so it's one of those things where I know people want to say it's disappointing, but any other option available would have been disappointing. More disappointing than this was. And apparently there's supposed to be another couple fights being added. Maybe a co-main event. Maybe another mid-level fight. Apparently he's supposed to announce all this today, so ain't too bad. I'll take it, Sebastian. You're the kind of MMA fan that doesn't suck. All right, everybody else, I know in the next few hours, next few days, we're going to get a bunch of videos about how this is the worst fight of all time. UFC 300 sucks. Horrible event, worst event of all time. I think it's a good fight. Both guys, extreme knockout artists. You'd be hard-pressed to find a boring fight from either guy. And that's the thing. It's not just about big names, right? Let's say we get George St. Pierre to come back and fight, right? And let's say we get George St. Pierre versus Nick Diaz. 2 big names, right? But they're probably not going to put on the best fight. George is in his 40s. Nick is in his late 30s, and he's not the Nick he used to be. It would probably be a pretty shit fight. So we're gonna get a good fight. Sebastian, again, Sebastian, you're the man in this stream. You're carrying it right now. You said UFC 300 ain't looking too bad though. Let's be honest. I think it's kind of a hot take. I think UFC 300 might be on paper, if you're talking about the matchups, might be the best card of all time. Just in terms of the fights on the card from top to bottom. I don't think there's ever been a card this stacked from top to bottom. People will argue that we've had better cards in the past. I think it was UFC 287 where it was Adesanya versus Pereira 2. That whole card was insane. Obviously, the main event, the big knockout. Uh, that card was insane. We had we've had a bunch of crazy UFC cards throughout history because the fights ended up being good. But if we're just talking about name value, because we don't know what the fights are going to be like, they could be awesome, they could suck. If we're just talking about name value, best card of all time. Best card. The only way you could find a card that is better than UFC 300 is, I don't know, maybe you could argue like 200 was pretty stacked had they had the main event they were looking for. They were trying to get John Jones versus DC. Yeah. If that card came to fruition the way it was supposed to, maybe it's arguably more stacked, but it didn't. If we're looking at UFC 300 as it is, oh, wait, they're talking about the co-main right now.
Is the other championship fight on the card. Yep.
Oh, okay, so it's confirmed that the co-main event is, he said the other championship fight. I don't know if he's talking about Wei Lee or if he's talking about Gaethje versus Holloway. And for anyone else just joining the stream, I don't know that anyone did just join the stream. I think we've been at a consistent 3 viewers. But if you're curious, the UFC 300 main event is Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira, as announced by Dana White on Instagram. So there you go. I mean, I think at this point, I like the matchup. I think it's solid. I'm more upset about the way it was announced. Like, if you knew we were going to announce it this date, you could have did something, some kind of promo during the event, or I don't know, just something. I didn't. And if you watch Ariel Helwani, if any of you guys, I think there's about 2 people here. If any of you guys watch Ariel Helwani in the MMA Hour, he's the guy that was famously, banned, I guess, from the UFC for announcing the UFC 200 main event early. He's going to have a field day talking about this because this was a very underwhelming announcement. But still a solid fight. So, as a fan of the fights, I mean, at the end of the day, I like the fights more than I like the announcements. So, not the end of the world. And now, right now, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, Dana's talking about Ilia Topuria's insane victory over Alex Volkanovski. I think I titled this stream something about the UFC 300 main event. We got to take some time to talk about what just happened. That was absolutely insane. Ilia Topuria has been one of my favorite fighters for a while now. Fun fighter to watch. Very fan-friendly style. The guy's just a total badass, man. He's awesome on the mic. Has all the confidence in the world. And he just proved a lot of people wrong. Knocked out Volk cold. Put in perspective, and Islam Makhachev at 155 pounds with a head kick wasn't able to knock out Alex Volkanovski. Ilia Topuria just did it with a perfectly placed, perfectly timed right hand. This guy's a superstar. I mean, what we're seeing from him is what we saw from Conor on the rise pretty much, and he's going to have that giant European fan base behind him. The UFC is in desperate need of stars. It's been riding off of Adesanya, Volkanovski, and Usman for a while now. And obviously everybody's waiting for the Conor fight, but we need more stars, right? Conor's only getting older, and these other guys have all lost their belts now, right? So I think Ilia is going to be one of the new big name fighters going forward. Sebastian, Dana White wants some Instagram followers. That he does. The guy is all over social media these days. He's all over the Milk Boys podcast and all that shit. He's an influencer now, Volk is going to keep. I can't read that. Volk is going to keep losing, man. Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, I think you're probably right. And the thing about this is Volk is really good, right? He's very, very skilled, but he's never been the kind of guy that's dangerous the way that an Islam Makhachev or that a Ilia Topuria is. He's not that dangerous, but he's a really good fighter, right? Because he's not so dangerous, I think that as, he goes up against guys that are, more often than not, it's not going to go in his favor. I think that's why in the rematch he got knocked out by Islam. He got knocked out by Taporia. I think Josh Emmett's a dangerous fight for him. I think if you put him up against somebody that has the ability to shut him off when he doesn't have that same ability going back, I think it can create serious problems. And he's old. He's getting old, and he can't be great forever. Sebastian Volk is going to keep losing. Oh, I read that one. Ilya Taporia versus Max Holloway. That's a badass fight. That is a badass fight. That's a badass fight, dude. I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Ilya wins that. I think Ilya wins that. I think if Ilya can be the first guy to knock out Volkanovski, then Ilya can be the first guy to knock out Max Holloway. That's what I think. I think he has that kind of power. But I think, yeah, it's one of those things. I know you're not supposed to do MMA math like this, but if Max couldn't beat Volk and Taporia handled Volk, it is a little hard logically to see where Max can win. But I like that fight. I think if nothing else, it'll be fun. If Khabib comes back, who would I want him to fight? That's a good question. Immediate answer is if one second, I gotta turn this down. This is Dana screaming in my ear right now. I would like to see Khabib fight George St. Pierre. It's a legacy fight. Both guys have been removed for long enough to where if you want to make an argument that, yeah, like George is old and he might not be who he used to be, you could also make the argument that Khabib is taking some time off. We've all seen the pictures of him gaining a bunch of weight. Probably not in the best shape, so he has to kind of get back into fight shape. I think that would be a pretty good fight. But if you're talking like current fighters, active fighters, I mean, I got to say Islam, right? Khabib versus Islam, it would never happen. That's a pretty crazy storyline, right? Guys that grew up together, same coach, really similar fighting style. I think that would be a pretty badass fight. Who else? I think those are the big names. I would like to see Khabib go up against somebody else that has like really, really high level grappling. But you know what? Charles would be a fucking good fight. Khabib versus Charles. But I guess we already saw Khabib. I don't know. We saw Islam versus Charles, and I think that Charles was able to. Well, no, Islam was able to handle Charles. So I don't know. That'd be interesting. Khabib. I'm not gonna lie to you. I for a second, when Javier Mendez said that Khabib was in the gym again, I thought Khabib might come back for 300. I thought that was on the table. Hold up, Dana's having a moment right now. You missed the beat. I think we all missed the beat. Zabit was amazing, man. He was amazing. There, some of those guys out in that Caucasus region, those high level grapplers. When you see the ones that can also strike, it starts to get real hard to imagine how they're gonna lose, right? Like when you watch who's a guy? I don't know. I'm blanking on names, guys. I'm on the East Coast. It's a little late right now. Who was that guy? Light heavyweight Magomed. He's one of those guys that just looks unbeatable. Like those guys with that high level Dagestani wrestling that can mix it up on the feet. That's the future of the sport, man. Oh, dude. Kobe Matthews looking through the channel. You got a cool channel, man. That means a lot. Really does. I spend a lot of time making videos. Not as consistent as I would like to be, just because life gets crazy, man. But I love the sport of MMA. Hopefully, I can grow this channel, build a little bit of a community here. I like the lives, man. If I can get a solid community of people here to join the lives every now and then to just talk about MMA, that would be fucking awesome. That would be awesome. So glad you like the channel, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. So if you wanna help me out, I would greatly appreciate that. And Kobe, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'll probably be on for, I don't know, maybe another 30 minutes. I might stay on till the end of the press conference. I'm just kind of hanging out here watching the post-fight press conference and just shooting the shit, man. So yeah, it's crazy that the UFC 300 main event got announced. This was a very long wait. It's nice to not worry about it anymore. No more crazy theories. Sebastian again, were you a fan of Brock Lesnar? Well, Sebastian, was I a fan of Brock Lesnar? It's a good question. So I didn't really follow MMA very heavily until the Conor Floyd fight. A little bit before that, I knew what was going on. I knew about the big guys. I knew about Brock Lesnar. I knew about Anderson Silva. But your boy couldn't buy the pay-per-views, and I was not going to be able to convince my parents to. But my dad was really into boxing, so I watched a lot of boxing. So Brock is a little before my time as far as heavily following MMA. But I will say that any guy that has that skill to like that WWE shit, you know, they're good at being characters. They're good at selling a fight. Anybody like that, I'm a huge fan of. Even if it's fucking cringe, like Cejudo, I like anybody who's trying to entertain us, man. Because nobody wants to see a boring personality on a fighter. That just doesn't sell. Kobe Matthews, I get it, man. I was trying to start a YouTube on another account. It's a lot of work. Respect to you. And yeah, subscribe. Kobe, you're the man. You're the man for that. And yeah, man, this YouTube shit's a grind, man. It's a grind. There was a period of time where I was making videos. Dude, I was working from like 8 to 5. I still am. But immediately after that, going straight to the gym for like an hour, coming back and working on videos after that. And that shit is fucking draining. A lot of people look at like, people will make YouTube videos and like, oh man, that's so awesome. That must be such a great time. There's a lot of people out there, even big YouTubers, that still edit their own videos, and like, it's a grind. But it's one that's worth it though. I will say, man, I love the sport of MMA. I love talking about it. I love making videos. Even if it's a grind, I fucking love it. So Kobe, get back on your videos, man. Get back on your videos if you can, if you have the time, and maybe we can hop on a live together one time. Do you feel John Jones is tucking Tom Aspinall? That's a good question. That's a question that I thought about making a video on. So I kind of have an interesting take on this one. Okay, so I think that John Jones is too confident to truly in his heart believe that Aspinall is going to beat him. But I think he's smart enough to know that Aspinall can beat him. So I think the number one reason John won't fight him, I'm not going to say he's scared, but I'm going to say he recognizes the danger. And we all know John hasn't fought in much in the past like 3-4 years. I don't think he wants to be a fighter anymore. Because when he took time off originally, it was because of contract disputes after the close fight to Dominic Reyes. He wants to retire undefeated. You know what? Yeah, I'm just fucking yapping right now. Yes. The answer is yes. I don't want to say yes because I don't think scared is the right word. But I think, yeah, he knows it's a big risk and not a big reward. You know? I think it comes down to that. But I don't think that John's scared, though. I don't think he's scared. But yeah, he's not going to fight Aspinall. That was a lot of yapping, man. Sorry, man. It's late. That's a good question, though. Because that's a fight that I think would be fucking awesome. But Tom's the full package, and John is not. John's never been the full package. It's interesting. It's very interesting. John's never been the full package, right? John's always been a high-level grappler that can strike from range, but he's not a knockout artist. He's not. He's just good. It's weird. He's just good. And he's also, crazy wingspan. But yeah, Tom's the full package, man. I think Tom could end up and is on route to becoming the best heavyweight ever. Kobe again. I really wish Stipe would have taken the fight against Tom Aspinall for 300. If you had Tom versus Stipe and then Alex versus Hill as the main event, the co-main, I would be happy with that. I would be very happy with that. That would be fucking awesome. But unfortunately, Stipe is in a very similar position to John, where I think once you have that feeling, right? Let me put my other headphone on so I can actually lock in. I'm fucking barely paying attention here. Yeah, the Stipe is just in that area where he's already looked at as the greatest heavyweight of all time. If he loses to John, he can say that he lost to the greatest fighter of all time. It's just like, why even put myself in that position to lose to some dude who hasn't proven himself yet? But Aspinall would fuck him up. Let's be honest here. Aspinall would probably knock him out. Can Francis beat AJ? Yes, Francis can beat AJ, and I'm going back and forth on that one in my head because AJ looked very dominant in his last fight, and this is how every fan looks at it. You're only as good as your last fight. So yes, I would say Francis can beat AJ, but I think that's a coin flip, man. I say it ends up by knockout. I do not see that going the 10-round distance. AJ does not have the chin Fury has. At least, you know, it hasn't looked like that. Francis versus Jones in a fight should have gotten. It's too bad. Yeah, that's a fight that we definitely should have gotten, and it's a weird fight, man. It's a weird fight because on one hand you can say John like waited too long. He waited him out, but on the other hand, he always said he was trying to put on enough weight to fight Francis. And to be fair, Francis is fucking huge, man. Like I understand John wanted to take time to like match up weight wise, and then obviously Francis goes to the PFL when he could have had that next fight against John, but obviously contract disputes. Yeah, that's a fight that we should have gotten. But again, I think Francis is more dangerous than Tom because Francis has the nuclear option. He can sleep anybody. I think had Francis stayed in the UFC, John for sure fights Francis, even though Francis is more dangerous because he knows it does more for his career. I think the career element is why John is ducking Tom Aspinall. That's why. I don't think he's scared of him. I think it's just risk versus reward, man. It just doesn't make sense to him. But yeah, that is a fight that we should have gotten. Dude, imagine Francis knocks out John Jones. Oh my God. That would have been insane. That would have been nuts. This is crazy. This was meant to be like a test stream, so I think it's pretty cool that some people are watching right now. I don't even think there's like a thumbnail up. I know they're scared to risk their legacies, haha, but I gotta say, if they're willing to put that on the line against someone like Tom, they get a lot more respect from me. That's just how you see it. You are making the mistake of being a logical MMA fan, right? You're part of a dying breed, right? Think about Sean O'Malley. This is what he says all the time. He's not going to fight the best guys when he's going to make the same money, you know, fighting someone way worse. At the time, he was fighting guys that weren't even ranked. I think that there's enough people out there that will just kind of senselessly hate that he's looking at it like, yo, if I do this, easy fight, easy money, you know. I forgot what the fucking question was. What am I even saying right now? Oh, yeah, they gain more respect for you. Yeah, they gain more respect for me, too. But unfortunately, the history books, because look at Dominic Reyes. John almost lost to Dominic Reyes, and Reyes was the man, undefeated. He was the man at light heavyweight, and then when it goes on a losing streak, and now he's like, I don't want to say a no name, but, you know, he's not a big name anymore. And it's like, dude, imagine John loses to that guy. That kind of fucks up his whole legacy, you know? And he knows that Tom could be another, whatever his name. I'm not even, I don't know what I'm talking about. Prime Tony Ferguson versus Prime Khabib. Who would have won? Interesting question. Very interesting question. It depends what you mean by prime, right? Because that last time they were scheduled to fight, when Justin Gaethje stepped in during COVID, I think Tony would have lost that fight. But I guess you could argue Tony wasn't in his prime at that point. We just didn't know it yet because we hadn't seen him lose in so long. I think Khabib would have won, but Tony would have made him bleed. That's what I think. And there's always the chance of a sneaky submission. I don't know, man. Those Dagestani guys are just. Did you guys see? Was it Arnold Allen versus Mosvar, the last pay-per-view? And I remember Arnold had Mosvar in a really tight guillotine, and then he just gator rolled out. Like those guys are different, man. Those guys are very, very tough. I think he was just too tough. I think Khabib would have won. I think it would have been a badass fucking fight, though. I think it would have been a really badass fight. One of the fights we deserved, but unfortunately we were unable to get. Prime Tony versus Prime Khabib. Yeah, that was a crazy time. 5 times that fight was scheduled. The fight was just cursed. And then Justin Gaethje just beat the fucking hell out of Tony Ferguson. That was insane. Marab Dwabashvili is getting interviewed right now. I'm actually a little late on the press conference. I had to pause a couple times. We got another question here. Conor versus Aldo. Build was good. Sorry, I'm using Streamlabs, and it's like kind of cutting off the question. Oh, so good. Conor versus Aldo build was so good. I would argue it might be the best build that we've ever seen leading up to a fight. Especially, I think part of that's because it got canceled the first time. Well, not canceled. You know, it was a last-minute replacement. So when it got scheduled again and that heat is still there, and then, Aldo was the champ for so long. Conor was, talking shit about him for a couple years there, right? Like that was a really long build if you were following Conor's rise. So yeah, I think that was maybe the best build to a fight that we've ever had, in all honesty. Who's your favorite, or sorry, it's cutting off the, let me see. Few of your favorite fighters at the moment. All right, well, this is where you might end up clicking off, depending on how you feel about fighters. I know, dude, people are really militant about fighters these days. Like, I like guys that fucking put on badass fights. Like, I don't, I like Israel Adesanya. I know that's a hot topic to say right now, but he's one of my favorites. And actually, I was about to make a video about this. I don't know if I will, but obviously, a lot of people call him cringe, which is very understandable. But anyone who tries to entertain, whether it's in a fight, someone who really, like Gaethje, or Chandler's the best because he is a great wrestler, but will refuse to use it to his detriment to entertain us. And like Adesanya coming out with this crazy fucking dance routine, like whether you think it's cringe or not, that takes fucking balls. In Australia, Robert Whittaker's backyard, right, fighting for the belt, like people will take big risks. Like Ilya, I love Ilya. I've loved him for a while, and the build up to this where he's like talking the craziest shit. Dude, his Instagram bio already said he was 15-0 and the champion well before this fight. Like that's anyone who takes chances like that. Like someone who's loves to entertain. Yeah, those are a few of my favorite fighters for sure. Who else? My kind of introduction to martial arts was through boxing and through kickboxing. I do some jiu-jitsu now, but since I have so much more experience with that stuff, I'm always partial to the guys that keep the fight in the feet. That's why I love Ilya so much. I think Ilya could compete against some of the top boxers in the world at 147. I think he could. Now, I don't know if he would be a champion right now. I don't think he could go out there and knock out any of the current champions, but Adesanya versus Hamza, who you got? That's another guy. I love Hamza. He's one of my favorite fighters. Hamza wins that fight. I know it's a hot take, and some people disagree with me. And I'm telling you right now, they're two of my favorite fighters. I probably am more of a fan of Adesanya. He speaks more and better English. maybe that's why I see more of his interviews. I understand what he's saying more. But Hamza wins that fight. It's a hot take, but I think Hamza is somehow become underrated now because people don't like some of his last performances. But that dude's grappling is a whole different level. We saw for so long Usman never get taken down. Then we saw Leon get that little trip and get him down, which, that's still a takedown. But Hamza's the only guy to shoot in and get a takedown on Usman while Usman's trying to defend, and he did it 4 times in one fight. And obviously, his last minute, but still, that's fucking nuts. That's insane. And then the one punch knockout of Gerald Mearshart. And people forget, it's crazy, actually. Joe Pyfer, I actually went to high school with Joe Pyfer, but it's not important right now. Joe Pyfer had a crazy performance over Gerald Mearshart, which was nuts. It was a great finish. But Hamza did it better, which is nuts because Hamza at the time was a 170 pounder and he knocked him out with one punch. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like what Hamza's able to do is, dude, he picked up Li Ji Liang and brought him over to Dana, right in the middle of a fight. He picked him up like he was his fucking son. Like that's insane. People were saying Usman. Sorry. Gotta fucking move this shit. People were saying, let me just read off my phone immediately. Usman would have won if it was 5 rounds. Okay, when people say that, I understand why they're saying that. And it kind of makes sense in a way because Usman was picking it up as the fight went on. But I think that people got to take into account a couple things. Well, the first thing is the fight was 3 rounds. So if you want to say Hamza was gassing out, if there was 2 more rounds, Hamza would have lost. The thing you got to also take into account is that it was a 3-round fight. So their training camp and their game plan was tailored to it being a 3-round fight. Had it been a 5-round fight, because remember in the first round, Hamza gave a lot of energy trying to get him out of there. Like it was an insane sequence. If it was a 5-round fight, I don't know that he does that or goes as hard. I think he probably conserves his energy better. So maybe Usman would have won, but maybe Hamza fights completely differently, and then he ends up winning. So it's one of those where I think skill-wise they're similar, but the big difference is Hamzat's going like that, and unfortunately, Usman's getting old. He's going down. I think that's the big difference. I like that fight though. That was one of those fights that it was a last-minute fight. I was very excited when that got announced. So we have 4 viewers now. Actually, no, right back down to 3. Awesome. Cool. I think it's actually just Sebastian and Kobe. I think you guys are the only. It went up to 4 for a second. We had a brief visitor. Feel free to keep coming with the questions, guys. I don't know. I'm probably give it another 20 or so minutes. It's like 2 a.m. for me. Where you guys from, by the way? You guys are up pretty goddamn late if you're on the East Coast like myself. We got 4 viewers now. Pretty sick. For the viewer here, I'm guessing you already know what the UFC 300 main event is, but if you're curious, this is a question that I like. Canelo versus David. I like how you just said David. Yeah, you have to put the Benavidez. You knew that I would know. All right, dude. I'm a huge Canelo fan too, so it's tough to answer this one. So, on the topic of ducking, I mean, how can you not say Canelo's ducking him at this point? Because people forget, man, boxing works so much differently than the UFC, where I'm pretty sure Benavidez he's been the interim champ for a while now, right? The WBC interim champ at 168. And it's like, if this was the UFC, they would have fought by now. And it's the crazy thing. And the MMA fans are freaking out about Tom having to potentially defend the interim belt. And boxing, this is par for the course. So if Canelo's out here fighting the Charlos, and to be fair, the one he's about to fight is a 160-pounder, only going up 1 weight class. But the other brother was coming up 2 weight classes off of it was like a 2-year layoff. Like, I got to call a spade a spade. I love Canelo, one of my favorite boxers. But, yeah, he's ducking. And I think he's ducking for a reason. I think David puts up a really, really good fight against him. And, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a coin flip. I think Canelo's good enough to beat him, but Canelo's been looking like he's potentially on a downswing right now in his career. And if that's the case, I think David beats him. Kobe, you're from Utah. Makes sense why you're still up so late. It's not as late for you. And they announced the co-main for UFC 300, question mark. The answer is no. So I was watching the press conference, and this is what Dana White said. He said, no, the other title fight is the co-main. So I don't know if he's talking about the BMF. I don't know if he's talking about the Weili fight. I think he's probably talking about, I don't know. That's a good question. But one of those two. One of those two is going to be the co-main event. He did say there's going to be another fight added, like a mid-level fight. So we're still waiting to see what that one is. I think it's going to be something fun. It's a mid-level fight, so it's not going to be a main co-main or even like the third fight, because those are all fights for a belt, BMF or otherwise. So it's probably going to be some kind of really fun, really badass fight. It might even be like Paddy versus Moicano. That'd be pretty sick. And then Sebastian's also from Bakersfield. Well, for you guys, it's, what is it, like fucking like midnight or some shit? You guys are lucky. You guys are fucking lucky. Pay-per-view timing is so much better if you're from the West Coast, dude. You guys have no idea. Yeah, I'm hearing my voice back right now on this, and I just sound insane. But yeah, again, thank you guys for coming to this live. Here's a question. Here's a good question, since you guys are here and very active. And again, man, thank you guys for that. It's fucking awesome. I want to do some more of these lives. What time do you think makes the most sense? It's tough because I know some people are on the West Coast, and obviously, me being on the East Coast, for me, like noonish would probably be the best. But for you guys, that's like 9 a.m. I don't know who's waking up at 9 a.m. to watch an MMA stream, right? So then obviously got a 9-to-5 job. 11 here. Oh, make a wish, buddy. Fury versus Usyk, who you got? I basically copy and paste the take I just had for Canelo versus Benavidez. I think Fury should win. Fury is good enough to win, but again, you're only as good as your last fight, and Usyk is looking like he's gotten very, very comfortable at the heavyweight division. His first couple fights, he looked like a cruiserweight trying to be a heavyweight. Now he just looks like a really good boxer who fights a heavyweight. So if he looks like his last fight, man, I'm torn on that one. I'm torn on that one. I think it's a good fight. If Fury at his best wins, Fury anything like what he's looked like in his past, even his past couple fights, loses. But the rematch clause, so we might get a trilogy. Damn, I get the card is deep, but like no super fights like Dana was promising. So you know what? For a while, I was kind of like upset at people who were like, "Yeah, we need a crazy, insane super fight. Dana promised us." But if you look back at what happened, you are kind of right. Dana did hype this up a lot, and he didn't deliver. But I think that pretty soon, because this is what always happens, I think pretty soon we're gonna get some report about the fight that Dana was trying to do. And if we get that report, we might feel a little bit differently. Because I get the feeling, because he was just saying in the press conference, he called a bunch of different guys and tried to make a bunch of different fights, and nobody was down. And it's actually crazy. Get the oil ready for dinner. Yeah, usually I hate that fucking meme, but that one made me laugh. It was so out of nowhere. But what the fuck was I just saying? Oh yeah, yeah. Dana did promise a lot of super fights. I believe he was working on something insane, but he just couldn't get it done. That's what I think. And even from I said this earlier in the chat, Eugene Berriman, the head coach of City Kickboxing, Volkanovski's coach, Adesanya's coach, he said that Adesanya got a call and they accepted it. There was no word on if the opponent accepted, but they were training as if they were going to fight on 300. So I think they were probably trying to do something else, but things got in the way. So if Jamal Hill is fighting against Pereira at 300, I think Adesanya is potentially the backup fighter. I think that might be what he's setting himself up for. But yeah, here's the thing. Like, on one hand, it's irresponsible for Dana to hype it up that much without having anything in mind. But on the other hand, he's a promoter. I mean, it's his job is to promote. I think they were working on something. Sounds kind of crazy. I think they were working on something insane that we wouldn't be able to handle. And it just didn't work. That's what I think happened. Yeah, I know Chael was talking about Cain Velasquez coming back for 300. What else? There were so many crazy rumors. The 165-pound belt, Connor and Chandler, that was a good rumor. I wouldn't hate that, man. I think the 165, 175. The problem is you have so many superstars, whether it's Daniel Cormier, obviously Conor McGregor, but so many superstars that like the thing that makes them a star is that they were double champion. Conor, the first double champion. You know what I mean? You kind of muddy it up when you add new weight classes, and then now you get a couple triple champs, or you get more double champions, so it's not as cool, so you devalue your old stars. I've got a couple more questions. And who's the most underrated fighter currently in the UFC? Oh, the most underrated fighter currently in the UFC. That's a good fucking question. That's a good question. It's hard to be underrated in the UFC, man. It's hard to be underrated. I'm one of those people. I think some of the most underrated fighters are some of the best fighters. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I think that the fan base tends to kind of hate on or try to dismiss certain fighters that are really good. Like, I thought Ilya going into this was underrated. Like, I think he's one of the best. I thought for a while that he's destined to be a champ. He's too good everywhere. I think there's a lot of guys like that are really good everywhere. Those are the guys that are the most underrated. I can't pick a name, man. It's hard. It's hard to pick a name. Everybody's so goddamn good these days. I will say, I don't know. I actually don't know who's the most underrated. Who do you think is the most underrated, actually? I'm curious. Saw someone say Brock Lesnar versus Tom. Yeah, man. The Brock Lesnar stuff. See Sebastian, Brock Lesnar, got them allegations. He's done with the UFC and WWE. Yeah, I don't know if this is true because, look, I think WWE is cool. I used to think it was, lame because it was fake. I actually do think it's cool. I think those guys are insane athletes and they do put themselves on the line. Like, I actually do think it's cool now. What does that have to do with anything? What was I just saying? Oh yeah, Brock Lesnar versus Tom. Yeah, that's a ridiculous fight. Brock's too old. Brock's too fucking old, man. But you know what? It would have, even though he's like fucking 47, it would be kind of funny to be like, what's the big secret? The same one for 100, which was the same one for 200. Brock Lesnar's coming. It'd be kind of funny. He's too old though. Like, and dude, Tom would fuck him up bad. Tom would he would delete him. Brock Lesnar got them allegations. Yeah, how about that? Oh yeah, I was saying, I heard that Brock Lesnar is no longer in the WWE games. or the new one that came out or whatever, which is nuts. Because dude, so many people have allegations these days. I don't know what the fuck is real and what's fake. Like I saw it and I'm like, there's no way this is real. All right. But yeah, apparently this shit is very legit. Apparently, Vince is out here shitting on faces. That's next level, man. Fucking insane. Fucking insane. Brock Lesnar. You see Brock Lesnar's daughter? Spitting image of Brock Lesnar. It's insane. How about Brock Lesnar, dude? Guy was a high-level collegiate wrestler. He played a couple downs in the NFL, whether it was preseason or not, and then became the UFC heavyweight champion. That's fucking crazy. What a life. What a life. Most underrated. Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Just give me some. I'll probably get out of here at maybe like 2:30. But yeah, got any? Oh shit, I was supposed to record a couple of videos. I'll wait it out till 2:30. I might just make these videos tomorrow. In all honesty. Oh shit, we got 5 viewers. That's insane, dude. I fucking made it. Yeah, if you guys have any crazy hot takes, any questions, go ahead, fill it in the chat. And if you don't know, the UFC 300 main event was actually released on Dana White's Instagram. Alex Pereira, we got 4 viewers now. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Good fight. If anyone questions it, if anyone's like, I don't know if this is UFC 300 level, I feel them on that. That's, you know, when you talk about a card that's tagline is unrivaled greatness, and the main event is something that's a really good fight, but I wouldn't say it's unrivaled. But the whole card is sick, though. The whole card is sick, so I'm not mad at it. I got Tom beating John. There's my hot take. You know, man, these days that's like a lukewarm take, man. Like I feel like most people feel that way these days. I think most people feel that way these days. Tom is good. Tom has what it takes to be an all-time. Brock's daughter looks like him with the wig on. Dude, she fucking does. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the strong genetics. I want to say I saw a picture of his son, and his son doesn't look like him. His son's... All right, guys. Yeah, you guys are fucking awesome. You guys are seriously fucking awesome for being up. I mean, it's not as late for you guys. But still, thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Legitimately means the world to me. Like, this is fucking awesome. You know, if you guys want to keep doing these kinds of things, I'm for sure going to do more streams. Like, I've never done one before, but it's been an hour and this fucking flew by. This was awesome. Yeah, if you guys want to see more of these, just let me know in the chat or in the comments. Definitely going to be doing more of these. And I'm trying to think. I have no way to like communicate with you guys. Yeah, I don't know. If you want to leave a comment on an old video or some shit, I want to see it. Any questions you guys have, any topics for a future live, more than free to let me know. And yeah, like I said, man, this is awesome. I'm actually gonna get off a little early because my throat's killing me right now, and it's fucking 2:21 in the morning. Keep around for the content in the streams. That means the world, man. That's awesome. And you know what, Kobe? After this, I might check out your channel if you have any videos uploaded, man. I love MMA. I love talking about it. I could talk about it fucking forever. So